Good evening, children. In my previous video, I discussed about the applications of tissue culture. 3 pages I had sent, number 1, 2, and 3. And I had also told you that in your textbook, there are some 7 applications given. 3 are not mentioned in your current syllabus, so we have to restrict ourselves to the only 4 of them: micropropagation, production of disease-free plants, then introduction of soma-clonal variations, and protoplast technology and somatic cell hybridization. Moving further with our new topic, as I mentioned last time that we are completing with the experiments on plant breeding and applications. Today we'll talk about another part of the chapter, which is animal husbandry. The dictionary meaning of husbandry means farming or looking after animals and food crops. So, animal husbandry is a branch of agriculture concerned with proper feeding, rearing, and breeding of livestock for obtaining milk and meat. 3 words are coming, which the meanings should be very clearly explained. Rearing means to take care and to look after. Breeding means to enable them to breed or multiply and give rise to their young ones. And livestock, I'll give the meaning. Livestock includes all those animals which are raised for production of food, that is milk, meat, and eggs. They also include those animals for the production of wool, leather, fur, or farming of land. And this includes cattle, pigs, poultry, sheep, horses, mules, etc. So livestock, children, it's a varied form of understanding, not just only food, but it also includes the commercial products like wool, leather, fur, etc. India and China, these are 2 countries in the world where more than 70% of the world livestock population is there. But unfortunately, the total world farm produce is only 25%. Why such a difference? Because of the conventional or age-old orthodox practices of animal breeding. Alright, so this potential can definitely go high up with the new advancements and techniques. So today's topic is definitely about the animals, children. The first topic is definition of animal husbandry. I have explained what it means: to take care for feeding, rearing, and breeding, that is multiplication of the livestock for obtaining milk and meat. The most important and very favorite question in the exams is a topic: what are the measures for proper maintenance of dairy farm? Right? Now remember, children, in your textbook, dairy farm and poultry farm, they are giving separately. Poultry farm is not in your course. That is page 529, which deals with the poultry farm management, that is about poultry, birds, hen, etc. These are not mentioned in the current year. So we will only restrict for the maintenance of a proper dairy farm. Right? There are some 7 steps to explain. And in questions where you are supposed to explain, you will please elaborate your answer. You will not just write one word answer like this, selection of breed, etc. But you'll have to very nicely explain it. Now, what is a dairy farm? Dairy farm is a place which is used for keeping and breeding dairy animals. Right? What animals give us milk? We have all the time we have been knowing about cow and buffalo, but there are other animals that provide us milk. For example, goats, sheep, camel, and yak. Right? So while selecting the animals for an effective dairy functioning, right, we have 7 steps to take care of. The first is a selection of breed. Alright, that means which breed is to be selected, that has to be taken care of. Let's see it in our book, children. Page number 527 here. It's a very small but important paragraph to understand. So the first point says selection of breed. The milk yield of dairy animals depends on the breed selection. It should be high yielding, disease resistant, and acclimatized to conditions of the climate of the area. That means there should be disease resistance, high yielding, and accustomed to the local climate. Second is shed. That means a clean, airy, spacious roofed area. Floor should be cemented. Sloping should be there for drainage of the feces, urine and cow dung, etc. And different categories of cattle should be kept separately. I'm sure sometime or the other you have seen some dairy farm, if not directly, but maybe you have seen on television, etc. And you can correlate with what we are studying. Third is feed. The feed of a normal cattle is three things mainly. Number one, it is 15 to 20 kilograms of fodder which is used as roughage. Then 4 to 5 kg of grain mixture called concentrate and 30 to 35 liters of water per day. Now keeping the climate in mind, right, the water is supplied in the diet twice during the winters and thrice during the summers, because there should be enough liquid into the body so that milk production could be done effectively. Alright, then fourth point, the third was water, as we mentioned. Three things we mentioned: the grain mixture as roughage, the fodder as roughage, then grain mixture as concentrate, and water. So fourth point comes under water only. The fifth point is grooming, that is cleaning, washing and brushing of the cattle to protect them from various type of skin infections. Sixth is control of diseases. What diseases can be prevented? Diseases which are dangerous like anthrax, tuberculosis, then foot and mouth disease, blue tongue, viral diseases, etc. So you don't have to learn all the diseases, but yes, 3 to 4 names you should understand. Then also children, there are fungal infections also like ringworm. So there should be cleanliness and hygiene that should be maintained regularly. Then under this control of diseases, we can also include the point visit of a doctor, veterinary doctor regularly for maintaining proper records. Then applying a dilute solution of an insecticide, a chemical which can kill the insect, for example lindane, and this can prevent the multiplication of lice, etc., because the skin has hair. Alright, then the calf losses can be prevented by taking care of the newborn calf, that is a young of the animal. Then coming to cleanliness and hygiene. In this, proper sanitation measures are to be adopted, and the hygiene is very important to avoid all sorts of infections that should be maintained for a hygienic condition of dairy farm. So that finishes with the maintenance of dairy farm. As I said children, it's an important topic, but see that you completely, and definitely it can be a direct question of 3 marks or 4 marks. So accordingly you must explain the points very effectively. Learn the chemical names or some diseases, right, and the proportion of their diet, what they should be given for a proper healthy routine diet. All right, now as I've told you, the other pages of the chapter, cattle population and all this is not required children because of the course reduction this year. So you don't have to study poultry farm, you don't have to, and the poultry farm management, etc., you don't have to. So we move to our next topic. Restrict to the notes that we are sending timely children so that you don't study irrelevant topics. We have started today with animal husbandry, measures of maintenance of dairy farm, and now we start with another topic called as beekeeping or apiculture. I'm sure you've heard of this name children. Apiculture is the practice, that is rearing or care and management for honeybees, that is Apis indica. Now again the definition, rearing means to look after, take care and management of honeybees for commercial production of honey. Now this is a very profitable business, children, because also one reason that this is less problematic, it's easy to keep, and there are a good number of advantages of honey that we'll talk later just now. So by definition, I hope you've understood what is apiculture or beekeeping. Three things your syllabus emphasizes: definition, which is here, brief idea, and advantages. Three only things that are mentioned. So brief idea, there are some terms for you to understand. First is apiary. Apiary is a place where honeybees are reared. Alright. Beekeeping, as I said, is less problematic and highly profitable cottage industry, right? And it can be practiced in places with abundance of bee pastures, such as wild shrubs, fruit orchards, or cultivated flowering plants. Two species we have written here. Apis indica. This is the most common honeybee reared in India, but the good quality honey is obtained from another variety, Apis mellifera. So remember, children, the Indian variety, indica, will tell you that this is a variety that is most commonly reared or seen and multiplied in India, and mellifera is the one that is good for quality production of honey. Economic importance, we talk. The demand of honey has led to a huge, massive beekeeping practice on a large scale, right? And this can be done by various parts of villages, etc. It can improve the economic status of our country and give more opportunities of employment. By and large, if we talk of advantages, we will talk of 3 points: honey, beeswax, and pollination of crop plants. Honey is a highly nutritious food, and it has got a very rich amount of vitamins, amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins, enzymes, minerals, and sugars. Right? As we know, children, honey is the liquid that the honeybee has taken or obtained from the flowers. So this is a very good source of these nutrients that are important. Then, honey is also used for the treatment of dysentery, vomiting, stomach, and liver ailments. Ailments means problems. Honey is also used as a laxative. That means it helps in proper movement of food in the alimentary canal and prevents constipation. It's also an antiseptic that can be used for not allowing for the multiplication of germs, etc. Then used in cough and cold. In a local method of our home treatments, we know all this. The second is beeswax. Beeswax, what is beeswax? It's a wax that is secreted by the bees. And when do they secrete this? While making their honeycombs. Alright? This is used in the preparation of cosmetics, polishes, and various types of candles. Then the third point, honeybees are the major pollinators of crops like apple, sunflower, pear, etc. Then, keeping beehives in a crop fields increases pollination efficiency. It also improves the crop yield and honey yield. So this is all about the apiculture. Once again, let us see what all things have we done for today. We started with animal husbandry, then discussed about the proper maintenance of a dairy farm, apiculture or the beekeeping. 3 things I told you: definition, the brief idea, and advantages. Right? Then, if anyone plans for apiculture, what all things should be known for a successful business? The first thing should be knowledge. Second should be a suitable location, right, for keeping the beehives. Then methods of catching and hiving of groups of bees or the swarms, what we call, and the skill of management. And finally, the knowledge of handling and collection of honey and beeswax. So with that, we complete the apiculture. Moving to our next topic is pisciculture. Pisces, children, as we know, is one of the zodiac sign, which means fishes, right? So the zodiac sign Pisces, as we know, means fish. The pisciculture is Before we come to pisciculture, let's first talk about fishery. What is a fishery? Fishery is an industry concerned with catching, rearing, processing and selling of fish, shellfish and other aquatic animals, right? And what is pisciculture? This is the process of fish farming in isolated water bodies, right? And the same practice we call as pisciculture. Now we have some examples of edible fishes. Edible means which can be eaten. One group I have here of freshwater edible fishes. Freshwater means the running water like rivers, streams, etc. Whereas marine means oceans and seas. Marine edible fishes. So what are the freshwater fishes like katla, rohu, carp? Whereas marine fishes include hilsa, sardines, pomfrets, mackerel. Then I'm sure you heard of the word aquaculture along with pisciculture, but they mean different things. They are mainly different in the culture of the animals. Pisciculture only restricts to fish. That is the process of fish farming in isolated water bodies is called pisciculture. But aqua is a broader term. It does not includes fish, etc. It includes fish along with prawns, shrimps, lobsters, crabs and edible oysters. So aquaculture also includes fish, but along with that it will have a whole lot of other animals to be looked after and seen for the production. Then pisciculture, food is always provided from outside because it's an isolated water body. So the person into this business has to provide food from outside. But here no food is required from outside because it's a natural source of water. So there's no requirement of food. Here, third point, pisciculture yields only food items, but aquaculture, many economically important substances are also obtained. So this is basically for food. This is food plus other industrially important articles. Alright, so that's a very brief introduction. First, what is fishery? Edible fishes, that is freshwater and the marine. Then differences between pisciculture and aquaculture. Coming to three terms once again, white revolution, green revolution and blue revolution. White revolution, as the color tells you, is a revolution or a breakthrough for enough milk production. Green revolution we have discussed in this chapter only by Dr. M.S. Swaminathan is enough production of food grains in our country so that we become self-sufficient. At the same time, we can export it for other countries too. Blue revolution, because of the color here, indicates the enhanced fish availability. Blue refers to water. So this is for fish availability in abundance. Coming to types of fish farming. There are two types of fish farming, capture fishery and culture fishery, which is also called as pisciculture. Capture fishery is easy. The person who has to capture or locate for the fish, he doesn't require to sow any fish seed, etc. He has to only reap, that is sit by the side of a river or an estuary or a lake, right, with a fish catching rod, right, and then just wait for the fish to be trapped. Here, culture fishery or pisciculture is where the fish seed has to be sown, tended, reared and finally harvested. So this has to be done directly from a very small stage, from the egg stage to the small stage to the finally the harvesting stage. Then coming to fish farming, which is on the basis of nature of water body. It's of two types, marine fishery and inland fishery. Marine, as the name tells, it's in oceans and seas for the fish production in marine waters, and inland fishery is the fish production in freshwater systems and brackish waters like estuaries, etc. Right? Then we come to the uses of fish. This will be the last thing for us today. Uses of fish, there are many. The first is that it is a common man's food and a cheap source of animal protein. So fish is a very important source of food. Second is sources of vitamins like A, C and D. right? And which forms we use? Sometimes we use shark liver oil, cod liver oil, etc. They are the natural sources of these vitamins. Coming to the third is source of oil. Like let's say sardines, herrings, salmons, etc. They're used for obtaining oils to be used in manufacture of soaps and paints. Then fourth is fish meal. Fish meal is a very rich source of protein for cattle and poultry, and it is obtained from the waste such as let's say fins, tails, bones, etc. Alright? Then fish waste. Fish waste is a very potential substance for making fertilizers and adhesives. Both have their own economic importance in industry, right? Then coming to skin of shark. The skin of shark is used for making interesting things like shoes, handbags, and other fashionable goods. Alright? And there's an agent or a substance called shagreen. It's an abrasive made from untanned skin of sharks and rays. Ray is a kind of fish, and it is used in smoothing surfaces for polishing. And finally, as a source of income, fish industry is a big potential for earning in coastal areas. So all these 7 uses you can very clearly explain. Then this we have already discussed, children. Livestock I have explained you, and why it is 70% in India and China, but why tapped only up to 25% in farm produce. So that's all for today. The animal breeding next time, that is tomorrow. This will be the last topic in this chapter, children, and with that we'll finish the lesson. So let's see what all things we have done today. We started with animal husbandry, definition, measures of maintenance of dairy farm, apiculture or beekeeping with definition, brief idea and advantages. Then we talked about pisciculture. Then we discussed about edible fishes, difference between pisciculture and aquaculture. Then types of fish farming, right? Uses of fish, and a little paragraph about this livestock and a small note of the same. Here we stop today, children, and write down 3 pages as I am sending, not 3 but 2.5 only. The first page, this one, then comes the second page over here, right? And the third page I'll be sending only up till here, right? So that's all for today, and keep writing your work. Ask any doubts, children, maybe on this window or the WhatsApp group, anywhere. Thank you.